Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside.
Howdy do, scrappers. My name is Tom Bouchel. I'm from the iScrap app, and today is Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. Thank you for joining us. We are live at 1 p.m. Eastern time, so if you have questions for us, by all means, make sure you ask them. If you are looking for more information or more just knowledge on scrap, our YouTube page has lots of videos, so don't forget to like and subscribe. This way you can see our videos and get alerted when the videos come out. And we have lots of videos that go to member only, so check those videos and maybe become a member where you can get some videos that we only produce for our members. So markets, a week ago, I was sick, so I wasn't here. So it's been 2 weeks since we spoke, right? Last week was a Chinese Lunar New Year. And what I've traditionally found is that during that period of time, we see markets going down. Trading from Asia drastically declines. And what I thought was going to happen was a pullback in the market. Well, let's say 2 weeks ago, copper was at $6. It did pull back to 570, and this morning we're at 603. So, it seems like we're seeing a lot of these regular shifts where markets really aren't going too crazy. I was talking to a trader that does a lot of business in Asia, and they were saying that they are really at a strong demand for scrap because they're not getting it in to the extent that they once were. And a lot of people could contribute that to the tariffs, even though those were struck down the other day by the Supreme Court. We still started to see the United States bringing industry back into the country. We started seeing manufacturing plants getting built in the end of last year and going into this year. And a lot of people are expecting to see the metals and a lot of these base metals, those ABCs that we talk about, aluminum, brass, copper, and steel, staying here inside the United States. So if those things continue to happen, then it won't shock me to see these prices continuing to run for a long time. I look at copper prices and the inventories in Asia are tight. The inventories in the United States are strong, but they still want to be able to have more. And I don't know if we talked about this a few weeks ago. The Trump administration talked about creating kind of a rare earth reserve, kind of like they have the petroleum reserves in Louisiana. They want to be able to have that for metals and not just for lithiums, but also for other base metals like copper, I believe. And that's just going to add more fuel to this commodities rally, which really has been very strong for the first 2 months of this year. As we approach the end of February in the next few days, I look at these markets and they really have been in great shape. So what does it mean for you? It's a great time to be selling scrap. If you came and looked at my warehouse, we are constantly moving material and we're not holding our copper for more than 2 or 3 days at a clip. So it's just coming in and going right back out, especially with these price ranges the way that they are. And when I look at these markets and people say, Tom, what should I do? I have 1,000 pounds of copper. I have 500 pounds of copper. I look at price swings. So I always say, what's my upside and my downside risk? At copper, let's just say $5 a pound, and you have 500 pounds. If it goes down 30 cents, it's $150 downside risk, right? In the immediate future, if it goes down $1, that's a $500 risk. So what I'm trying to do is make it so I only have about a 3 to 5% pullback. So if markets do go back, let's say 5% on $5, that's 25 cents. My material's gone by the time it bottoms out. And that's something that you may want to think about. I know you may not be trading on a large scale level that many scrap yards may be, but it's still a mindset to think about if you're looking at prices. It's kind of like looking at stocks. Sure, the stock could go up more, but if you've made money on it already, sometimes you go in there and you take a profit off the table and you're happy to go on and scrap another day. So that's just something to look at. Catalytic converters, unbelievable to see these markets running the way that they were. Let's talk about January. January saw platinum prices increasing to all-time record highs, following largely the gold and silver trades that were taking place. Now, we saw some of those gold and silver numbers pulling themselves back, and while platinum is still not at their all-time record highs, we're still seeing those numbers over $2,000 an ounce, and we're continuing to see those prices going very high. And now we're starting to see rhodium numbers having an uptick. And rhodium, just to remind everyone, over $11,000 an ounce. The primary reason we saw catalytic converters at such a high price in 2022 and 2023 was that rhodium was over 30,000, or really regularly over 25,000 an ounce. So now, even though there is a small part of these catalytic converters that are rhodium, starting to see the markets going from 3,000 to 5,000 an ounce to 11,000 could start to quickly move that crank, increase those catalytic converter prices, and we might be going into another strong market. And when we talk about what we did a few minutes ago with the Trump administration and these rare earths, platinums, palladiums, rhodiums, these base metals that are really specialty alloys are becoming more expensive, growing in value, growing in price, and we might continue to see catalytic converter prices on a very strong uphill swing. So we're really happy to see some of these markets moving the way that they are. Now, it would behoove me to talk about a crazy market that's doubled in the last 3 months, and that would be the carbide and tungsten industries. Now, when you look at these markets, we have seen prices doubling from, just in November. I was looking at a few quotes that I had received just before and just after the Thanksgiving holiday. And since then, we're now paying some of the numbers that we were being quoted at, as we've seen such a renaissance in pricing when it comes to carbide and tungsten alloys. Now, unfortunately, you can't find a really great place online to follow some of these markets. There's not like a tungsten pricing that's moving the needle as gold, copper, or silver may, but we are seeing really strong demands. And we're seeing, because of the tariffs and because so much of the materials are staying inside of the country and not being exported, we're seeing very strong numbers, and we're quoting them over at rrcarbide.com. So if you or any of your friends have carbide or tungsten-based alloys, please check us out. Now, we are going to have a few other videos that we'll be doing later, so don't forget to check those out in our members only section. We'll be talking about nickel versus stainless, some aluminum grade swings, and what's going on in the steel markets, as they still have been very, very strong this year. So here we are, scrappers, Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. We're really happy where these markets are. They're continuing to maintain their strong commodity growth that we've seen this year. And don't forget to report your prices online. Check out our other products and services, from catalytic converter buying to carbide buying, and check out a lot of our members only videos. And if you're not a member, check it out. You might find some really good chunks of scrap knowledge in there that's going to help you make more money. I will be off for the next couple of weeks. We won't have any videos for the weekly report, so I'll see you a few weeks from now. My name is Tom Bushell from the iScrap app, and until next time, I'll scrap you later.